Jeff Bezos made $11.5 million every hour of the pandemic, and yet he shared almost none of it with warehouse workers.
It ain't fair to us working like we working and got him in his position he in, and he don't care about us and want to pay us.
Now, Amazon workers in Alabama are voting to form the first union in the company's U.S. history.
I want people to understand that the packages that you get is on our backs.
This is a distinctly Black-led struggle for labor rights, inspired in part by the movement for Black lives. Workers here describe conditions as something out of a dystopian nightmare.
Once you get off, it's so excruciating walking out.
And while the gap between Bezos' wealth and his employees' earnings has reached obscene levels, not everyone is behind the union push.
If performing at a certain level is too much physically or too much mentally for somebody, then maybe this isn't the place for them.
If these workers succeed, it could mark a turning point in the history of organized labor in the U.S. and send shockwaves through warehouses across the country.
Keep working! Keep working! Woo!
We're in Bessemer, Alabama to follow this epic battle for organized labor. Amazon reaped mind-boggling profits during the pandemic, and Jeff Bezos' personal wealth grew by about $70 billion. So even if he gave every U.S. Amazon employee a one-time $100,000 bonus, he'd still be nearly as rich as he was before the crisis. Instead, he stripped workers like Jennifer Bates of the $2 an hour hazard bonus they received near the start of the pandemic.
You see the shoes here? I've gone through them all. None of them work doing all that walking at Amazon.
As Jennifer gets ready for a 10-hour shift at Amazon, she worries about the toll it will take on her body.
I hope my legs won't start hurting. So that's really what's going through my mind.
Jennifer says the physical requirements of the job are grueling and unsustainable. She's been to the doctor for tests because her legs and ankles are swelling.
Your body is taking a hit. Once you get off, it's so excruciating walking out.
Some workers told AJ Plus they have to walk for miles during a shift and can't sit down except during official breaks. For Jennifer, it's become so difficult that she wonders how she'll make it through the day.
I have 10 hours. And what goes on in my mind is I try to convince myself that everything's going to be okay today.
And Jennifer says she's not alone.
It's amazing because as I sit in my car, I literally see people walking and limping.
Now, Jennifer and other workers are taking on one of the most powerful companies on the planet with a vote later this month on whether to unionize. And they faced an avalanche of union busting in response. Workers say they've been spammed by anti-union text messages and emails and are subjected to vote no messaging along the walls and even bathrooms of the warehouse. Jefferson County even changed traffic signals outside the warehouse at Amazon's request. The union says it was to undermine canvassing efforts. It's been so bad that members of Congress sent a letter to Jeff Bezos imploring him to, quote, stop these strong-arm tactics immediately.
Amazon is afraid of the power of the people, that now we'll have a voice and we'll be able to stand up. What they're afraid of now is that when the union comes in, now we're being forced to make you sit down and talk to us.
Amazon rejected our request to film inside the warehouse, but we pieced together clips from social media and personal accounts to give you an idea of what life inside is actually like. It looks something like this. Your job is a picker at the warehouse. You have to pull products from shelves powered by robots. These are called pods. A computer tracks how fast you work. It's called making rate. Want to stretch or take a few sips of water? That's going to eat up precious time. Need to get on a stepladder to reach a product? That's also going to cost you. You get a warning. You're not making rate. For Daryl, a picker at Amazon's warehouse, it's that frantic push to be robotically efficient that chips away at his personal dignity. He works 10 to 12-hour shifts and worries about taking too long for a bathroom break.
If I need some water, I just don't walk off my machine just cause. I walk off my machine because I got an issue.
Warehouse workers get 2 30-minute breaks per shift, but outside of that, workers are being monitored anytime they're not performing their job. It's called TOT, or time off task. Picture this. You've been standing for 4 hours. It's time for a mandatory break. You have 30 minutes to walk an area the size of 14 football fields to get to the break room. There's no time to heat up food. Something from the vending machine will have to do. You finish up, Head to the bathroom and make it back to your station 10 minutes late. You get a text message, you've racked up TOT, report to HR. Too much TOT could get you fired.
You gonna fire me for going to the bathroom if I got too much TOT time. Come on now. This life. Going to the bathroom. Mother Nature called.
Amazon has said its workers don't need to unionize, talking up its competitive benefits and starting pay of $15.30 an hour. That's more than double the state's minimum wage of $7.25. Daryl says it's not a livable wage and that they deserve more for what they're contributing to the company.
If I was to see him right now, I would ask him, you just do what we do for a month. Because I want to see how long will he last. It ain't fair to us working like we working and got him in his position he in, and he don't care about us and want to pay us.
Next week, Amazon will face its first unionization vote in the country in 7 years at Bessemer, Alabama.
At its heart, this is a fight for fair labor that's taken root in a place that epitomizes the struggle for racial justice.
My great-grandparents lived here years ago in Bessemer. And if you drive around, you can see that it's a struggling area.
This is a union effort being led by an overwhelmingly black workforce in a town where a quarter of the people live in poverty.
It's not the fact that you're coming here to bring economic growth, but you're coming here to get cheap labor because they're easily to accept the smaller pay and don't think that they deserve to get compensated for their hard work.
Labor organizing has a really deep history in Alabama, and the Bessemer area was once a center for unionization. In the 1930s, black and white workers joined together to push for progressive labor laws against their employer, U.S. Steel. The Amazon warehouse that Daryl and Jennifer are pushing to unionize, it sits on land once owned by that steel company. And it was this kind of radical, interracial union work that would lay the foundation for the civil rights movement in Birmingham. One of the really distinctive things about this campaign is that it's being led by the Amazon workers themselves and workers from nearby poultry plants.
Keep working! Keep working!
On the day we visited, Randy Hadley, president of the union that's helping Jennifer and Daryl, stood outside for hours to encourage people to vote.
Amazon's not hiring these people so they can say, hey, you have a great future. Now, they'll lie and tell them that. Amazon, they work these people so hard. They treat them like a machine. So when that machine breaks down, they just throw them out and get another machine.
One analysis found the turnover rate at Amazon among frontline workers was between double and triple the industry average.
Ma'am? 29th. Mail it in by the 29th. The sooner you mail it in, the better we are. Okay? You have a great day.
We requested an interview with an Amazon spokesperson for the story. They did not make one available to us.
Hi. How's it going?
Instead, we spoke with Dawn Hogue, a processing assistant who defended the company's work conditions.
Being forced to stand for long hours, not enough time for bathroom breaks, being pushed to the limit to perform a certain number of actions per minute. I mean, do you see any validity in these concerns from your coworkers?
It's not for everybody. So if performing at a certain level is too much physically or too much mentally for somebody, then maybe this isn't the place for them.
Dawn started at Amazon as a packer, but her current position does not require that she make rates.
So it doesn't really sound like you can sympathize with a lot of the concerns that people have for why they're choosing to unionize or want to unionize.
I would say I don't sympathize with them, but I empathize. I understand what they're saying and I understand their feelings, but I mean, it's been that way from day one. You can't come into a situation that doesn't work for you and then get into it and then expect it to change just for you.
The significance of this moment as a progression of Alabama's anti-racist organizing is not lost on Daryl.
He got killed for trying to make things right, trying to make everybody come together, and that's me. I want everybody to get treated fair. I want everybody to get paid for what they deserve. I want everybody to have the opportunity.
Past efforts to organize have failed, but there is a palpable sense of hope and optimism that this time will be different.
I think we're going to win. And I'm always had that faith until that day. So I can't do nothing but have faith and praying that we do.